everyone had a dark suit, and if it was more woolly than the weather necessitated, one could always take one's jacket off at the wake. The priest looked a bit hot. Anna wondered whether he had summer-weight robes. Maybe they wore the same summer and winter, but had more layers on when the weather got a bit chilly. Had she ever noticed priests looking more rotund in the cooler months? It must cost a fortune in dry cleaning bills, being a member of the clergy. Could you claim for robe cleaning as expenses? Did priests even get expenses, or was it all just part of the cost of worshipping the Lord? Anna almost giggled, but she caught herself. That would never do, laughing at a funeral. She would be struck down there and then and topple headlong into the grave, hideous black dress and all. "We now commend the soul of our dearly departed sister Dorothy to the ground," said the priest. The pallbearers began lowering the coffin slowly into the hole. The sides had been cut sharply, and Anna could see the patterns made by the various strata of soil. Grey at the top, but then meandering through oranges and browns, a bright yellow stripe of clay halfway down. She tried to identify each layer, to calculate how long they had lain there just out of sight. Mr. Monkhouse, her erstwhile geography teacher, would be proud of her. At least it would be cool down there in the hole. A droplet of sweat trickled down her upper back before being absorbed by the tight binding of her bra, also black, but with more of a chance of further use. They had reached the part where the chief mourners throw soil down onto the coffin. The stars of the funeral show had tossed what was really just dust, as there had been no rain to reconstitute it for weeks. Anna watched as one by one the family members grabbed at a handful of earth and then dropped it into the hole onto the shiny brass plate. The soil seemed almost to float down, containing no water to give it solid form, and it landed gently on the coffin top with a little patter, like tiny raindrops at the beginning of a storm. Sebastian, youngest child and only son of the deceased, went to wipe his dusty hand down his trousers, and then thought better of it. Perhaps he could also hear the ever-present voice of his mother in his ear, even at her graveside. Anna noticed that he was crying, not with the emotional heaviness of the others, but small, unself-conscious tears that just trickled down his cheeks. He made no effort to wipe them away. Maybe tears would soon be the only form of moisture on the earth, Anna thought. Each tear would become so precious that it would have to be captured and then desalinated. The world would have to become inconceivably sad in order to generate enough tears. Fines would be imposed for laughing, unless it was so hard that precious tears were induced. Only extremes of emotion would be acceptable. There would be no mediocre middle ground, no room for merely feeling fine. How would the tears be saved? Anna wondered. They would surely evaporate if you caught them one at a time. There would need to be an awful lot of crying. There were plenty of tears here now, if anyone was looking for some free moisture. Anna seemed to be surrounded by shaking shoulders and sniffing noses. Grief, it seemed, was contagious. Somewhere someone was wailing. Not here, surely. Dorothy Bliss had been old and at the end of a highly satisfactory life. Sad, maybe, but not enough to induce something as soul-shattering as a wail. Anna and a couple of the other less grief-stricken mourners looked up to trace the sound. It was coming from another party over in a different part of the cemetery. Was that right? 2 funerals at once? One would have thought that whoever took the bookings would ensure that there was only ever one group mourning at a time to avoid confusion if nothing else. It would never do to grieve at the wrong graveside. Perhaps there'd been so many deaths in this heat that it wasn't feasible to space the funerals out. Maybe the doom and gloom merchants of the national press were right after all. People must be dropping like flies. As the second imposter coffin made its slow procession along the gravel path to its final resting place, Anna saw the gaudy flowers arranged skillfully into letters and balanced on the tiny lid. Benny. A child. That would probably explain the wailing. Was the death of a child, with so much ahead of them,